Our first episode of Information Lane. We're so happy that you're here, and we are so excited for you to get to know us and us to get to know you. So I'm Ashleigh Lane, and this is my wonderful husband, Curtis Lane. We'd like to share our story and our testimony with you. I will tell you right off the rip, we have been through more things in our 3 years of being together than most couples will be in 25 years. Our first year of marriage, Curtis was diagnosed with epilepsy. But before we get into that, I want to get into two very special men that are on the screen right now. This is my husband, Curtis Lane. We wouldn't be here without Mike and with some very other individuals and Reek. So let's jump into our story. We met on a Facebook dating app. I know, so cliche. I was in my late 40s. Curtis was in his mid 40s. And we really kind of were at the end of our roads. I was going on to my Facebook dating app really just to delete the app because I was over it. I wanted to meet someone organically. This young gentleman come in my inbox, and I was like, all right, one more chance. Happy Saturday is how I started the conversation, and the rest is history. We met up on started dating September 11th, 2023. We got engaged in January 16th, 2024, and we got married November 17th, 2024. And then our journey began, and our journey started, and I will be honest with you people, it was not rainbows and unicorn like it is in the movies. We had every obstacle in front of us. We became very Christian. We leaned into our faith. We were Christian before, but we learned what it was to be a Christian and to walk like a Christian. And I think that's what changed our lives. Our epileptic journey started January 27th, 2005, which is the day we got baptized. And I say that because that's the day the enemy tried to start working against us. And we were both baptized, Delray Beach. We live in sunny South Florida. A week later, we went to church with our daughter, and Curtis prayed for.
Well, I prayed for all the negativity to be snatched from me. And let me tell you, that's when it happened.
A week later, we went on a family vacation because we were just at our wits' ends in our relationship. It was Labor Day, September 2024. We were on our way home. We were packing up the car. I looked at Curtis. He didn't feel too well. He's like, I just want to get home. He was sweating really bad. We rented a car, convertible. We put the top down. We get in the car. We start driving home, and Curtis is looking off into the sky. A bird, a plane. No, it's a grand mal seizure. And that's how it started. And I freaked out driving in the Keys, had no idea what's going on. Is my husband having a heart attack? Long story short, here we are almost a year later, and we are spreading awareness to the community. And we want people to know that if you don't have a voice, we'll be the voice for you. We're huge advocates. We started this journey with nothing. Curtis has had 6 seizures. His last seizure was January 30th. And we are now 4 months and a couple weeks seizure free. Amen.
Amen.
And that's just how our journey started. And I will be very honest and transparent with you and be a little vulnerable tonight. It wasn't easy. The first 5 months, Curtis didn't work. I was the only one working. It was really hard, but we didn't want to give up on each other. We took wedding vows, and Curtis was like, this isn't what you signed up for. But when I took wedding vows, this is what I signed up for better, for worse, for sickness and in health. And I wasn't going anywhere because you had a seizure. What if I had cancer or some other ailment? Were you going to leave me? Those were always my questions, because he always said, like, this isn't what you signed up for. I know you deserve better. But what is better? You're my person. I'm supposed to leave my person because he has epilepsy. Like, you didn't ask for that either. This was just something that was brought upon us. Curtis got epilepsy from a childhood injury, and it didn't stem right away. He never saw signs of having any kind of traumatic brain injury, and it just stemmed from that. So I'd like to turn to my husband and ask him a couple questions so you guys can get to know who the wonderful man he is. How did you feel when you were first diagnosed with epilepsy?
Well, to be honest, I had no way to feel. It was kind of weird. It's one of those things that you don't expect, so.
Did you feel like it was a death sentence?
I did at first. I literally did. I was like, oh, my whole life is gone. What am I going to do? And literally that sat in my head for like 5 months, because you're trapped at home. You got to wait on people to do things. You start to live inside your head, but it was also a gift to me because it opened up parts of my head that I didn't know that existed. And one of them's advocacy. And to be honest with you, it's a big part of our lives now. It's 95%, because there's so many people out there that go through things that we'll never get answers for. But if we can help in just a little bit, that's what we're here for. We look up information. We give you proper information. We do the legwork. We look for it. Ashleigh is advocate. And speaking of advocacy, I want to shout out my hero. So if you ever hear me say my hero on the show, I'm talking about Ashley Howell. So just get used to her name. She's going to be there for a while.
He's lucky he has 2 Ashleys in his life.
That's right. EIGH and a LEY.
So let me ask you as well, so that people can understand like how real this really is for us. Okay. Being newly married, finding the love of your life.
That's right.
And being diagnosed with what seemed like a death sentence as a man and a provider, pride-wise, how did you feel?
It never really affected my pride. It was the confidence.
Okay.
It was, some people, when you get diagnosed, they take it as, oh, I can't do anything. And my big thing was, what can I do? That was my biggest question. And throughout the process, I looked at folks like Ashleigh and I started pondering. I said, if they can get up and do it every day, what's holding me back? And with your help, like, you helped me a whole lot. Let's don't lie about it. You piggybacked me through that time. How did it make you feel?
So for me, I'm not a quitter, and I know you're not either. And I think that that's what really helped me. And prior to this, I was a caregiver for my grandmother who passed away. And for me, it came second nature. I wanted to be there for my husband, to support him. I wanted to know that he wasn't in this alone, that I was going to be there no matter what. And I didn't want him to feel like this was your sentence. This was your diagnosis. And that's it. Like, you're going to be on your own. So for me, when we found out that you were diagnosed and you had epilepsy, for me, it was a fire that ignited in me. And it was something that I was like, okay, I have this in me. I can do this, and I can support my husband. What I wanted was for everything to be okay. I told you this in the beginning. If I could put you in a bubble and protect you forever, I would do that. But we both know that that's not realistic. What would you have told yourself 8 months ago, knowledge that you have now, when you were struggling in those first 5 months, staying home, and you felt like your life was over? You couldn't drive. You were taking medication that you haven't taken ever. And what would you tell yourself 8 months ago when you were first diagnosed for the knowledge you have now?
I would definitely say trust the process. I think that's for people who are diagnosed with something, they want to rush. They want to know immediately. They do this, they do that. They do internet medicine, they search, but they don't do the homework. And I think that's what did us the best is we looked up things. We did the research, and we weren't blessed with money by any far. We were like $20,000 in debt just for medical bills, but somehow God got us through it. We're a successful family. We do everything together. We teach our kids to be the best that they can be. But for me, it was that part that kept me above the rest. Is I have passion and I refuse to lay down. Let me just tell you.
Yeah.
And if you follow me, let me just tell you, if you follow me, you too will believe in yourself, because that's my mission. And I promise you, I will not let you down. You can ask my wife, you can ask Mike and Reed. What I live for is someone else's smile, because you deserve it.
So I want to just jump in real quick. I know this seems very emotional right now, but I just want to lighten the spirit up just a little bit. Information Lane was formed because Curtis and I had it heavy on our hearts after we were baptized, and we became really, really deep into our faith at our church. We started feeding the homeless, and that really like changed our lives. It changed the way we thought about things. We thought we were high and mighty, had all of the things. And then when you really humble yourself and give to your community and you serve people, it changes you, and it changes you in a way that you'll never, ever be able to express or to tell anybody. So Information Lane come from us helping our church feed homeless people and providing information to them to get resources, to get sober, to get medical help, to get cell phones so they can communicate with their loved ones. That's where information stemmed from. And then that fire burned inside of us. And it was such a positive feeling. It filled our cup daily. Mm-hmm. And so we decided that we were going to impact our community in a way that some people just don't know how to do. I'm very good on the computer. I have a very loud voice, very passionate about things that I believe in. Curtis is as well. And I think that this was our mission, to make the community aware of what's going on. Epilepsy is one of those diseases, diagnoses, disablements, however you want to phrase it, is one of those things that not a lot of people know about. You think that you have seizures, and that's not just what it is. It's a silent illness. There are so many other things that go on in the epileptic world. So Information Lane was fired from all of those things, and we wanted to bring awareness to this community for people that didn't have resources on how to get medication. We wanted to be able to do all of those things so that we could provide for our community and have people join in and feel like they were a part of something. I do want to ask you, being a husband, being a provider, being all of those things, and now that you've started going back to work, we've got medication regulated, all of those things, how are you feeling now?
I feel like I got the dog in me. Like everything's back to normal. Not normal because I know my days will be different, but what I'm not going to do is be scared of it. What I do is I get up every day, I make moves. I live a different life than most people would think. I do highway work, so I'm out on the highway. I build roads. I get on big pieces of equipment. I do all the things that people say I can't do, and that's because I have passion. Now, passion will make you do things that fear won't, and let me tell you, it's a great thing. And to have a support group, that is your main goal. You got to find people that's going to support you, friends that are going to have your back. And if you don't have those in the people around you, you got to change the people around you. Because what I did was I found a group of people who I had never met in my life. Mike is one of them. Enrique is one of them. I never met these guys in my life until I found epilepsy. So to me, it was a gift. Now, some people look at it like it's a curse, but for me, it's a gift. I found that I do poetry. I have a gift to gab. I love my brothers, Harold Creekmore. I love you, Bobby Spillers. All these guys are crucial to our life, our journey. Mm-hmm. They support epilepsy awareness in South Florida so much that we want to move them here to Florida. They can stay in our extra room, but they are the fuel that keeps our fire burning. And in return, what we do is we give you the information that you need. No matter where you are in this world, if you're any state, if there's an issue that you need help with, reach out. I promise you, we'll do the work. We'll get you all the information you need. Like if you need rescue meds, if you need someone to talk to, if you need to get in contact with someone to help you with housing, even if you're homeless people, if you need help, we'll help you. I mean, literally, just reach out. Some of you guys have phones. If you don't, find somebody that has a phone, reach out, and I promise you we'll get to you. And we don't just advocate for epilepsy. We advocate for everything under the sun. And mental health is one of the biggest things that I shoot for. And that's because your life matters. It's okay to not be okay. Men, it's okay to be weak. You can cry. It's okay to let someone know that you're having a bad day. And I always tell folks, if one thing for sure, I would love to hear your story so I don't have to carry your casket. Let me just tell you. In the world, sometimes it takes one person to believe in you. And I'll tell you this, Epilepsy Awareness South Florida, Face of Epilepsy, we believe in you. So that's why we're putting these shows on. We want your voice to be heard. So when you hear this podcast, get on it, because it's for you. It's not just for us, it's for you. You have a voice. The more voices we get, the louder we get. And let me just say this. If you had a wife like mine, I promise you, she's going to go to the ends of the earth to make sure every one of you guys get the proper information that you need. Caregivers are just as important as the people who have epilepsy, due to the fact is they see the whole thing. They see the whole thing. And remember, it's not just you that suffer from it. Everyone in the house does. Make sure that you take care of yourself. Even if you have a bad day, have that day, but get up every day with the power to push forward. And I want to ask Ashley a question right now. She's been asking me a whole lot. Let's get in her head a little bit. When I was diagnosed, how did you feel?
I honestly don't really think I had a specific feeling. For me, I've always just pushed through life. And so I felt like whatever I was handed, I was going to deal with, because those were in my cards. And so I didn't know how we were going to figure this out, but I knew we were going to do it together, because it wasn't just a me thing and it wasn't just a you thing.
That's right.
It was an us thing, so like that's what happens a lot of times is families think, oh, I got cancer, what am I going to do? Well, it's not just you that got cancer. It's the family. It's a whole family that's dealing with that. There's so many things. Car rides to the doctor visits, holding your hand after you've had a seizure, reassuring you that it's going to be okay. Today was just a rough day. We're going to get up tomorrow. We're going to crush it again. So it was really, for me, like I had said before, it was a fire that burned inside of me. And I just knew that I needed to be the backbone and the support that you needed so that we could get through this together. So for me, there was no hiccup in my decision, if that makes sense to you. For me, it was just, okay, you have epilepsy. Let me get on the computer and find how and all of the things, that's me. I need to figure out where, when, and why. So I just started doing my research. I started advocating. We found rescue meds. Curtis takes Valtico when he has a seizure. And we went to take the prescription to the pharmacy, $2,500, ma'am. I was like, wait, what? What? So I advocated, how can we get this medication for people who don't have insurance for free, or as our patient advocate programs with these things? So I reached out to the manufacturers. I did all the homework. I filled out the paperwork, endless phone calls with people. And then I just figured out what we needed to do. And because you're a great follower and a leader, you followed me in this journey, and you just did what you were supposed to by taking the meds and the doctor's appointments and all of the things.
Well, you're the glue that held it all together. Let's be honest. I wasn't taking no meds. I was like, well, I'm good with that. I guess I'll just have a seizure. She was like, no, if I had to slingshot it down your throat, that's what I'm going to do. So of course I had to take the pill. Let's see. But she's the strongest person that I know. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Every time something happens, like, she's the first person to jump. She's so thorough that people who are thorough are definitely upset. But
well, thanks, honey.
But above all else, she cares. That's the main thing. She cares, and her heart is bigger than anything on this planet. She's a good mom, wife, brother, sister. Not a brother. Sorry about that, baby. But
it's okay.
She goes all out, and since my journey, she's been there since every step. I mean, she hasn't left my side, and a lot of things that go unnoticed, I really notice. I just don't speak on them, because trust me, at first it was so rough. I didn't even know what to say. I was like, I took it out on her. I was rough.
It's not easy being married to someone who's epileptic. I'm not going to lie.
I had a chip.
And it takes a long time for someone with epilepsy to even realize what's going on in their brain. They thought they've had control of it for majority of their life. And then he's been so much more vulnerable. He's been so much more emotional. We'll have conversations with strangers and the tears are just flowing. But that just shows you how genuine he is.
That's right. And I like to lift people. One thing for sure, if you ask anybody about me, I'm a stigma beater. I don't believe in it. Like, if you don't have anything positive to say to someone, you had the same opportunity to be quiet. If you don't like their post, scroll past it. You can't really sit back and tell anyone how to heal. And I go through this a lot. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm going to say it boldly and proudly. I believe in Jesus Christ. And if you don't, I'm not upset about that. So don't judge me because I do. But one thing for sure is my faith has led me to right here. If it wasn't for the faith that I have, I wouldn't be here right now. And for all those who say it's phony and fake, I believe in every one of you. And tell me when I'm lying. We are a platform for anyone who has a voice. It's a safe spot. So just for everybody to know that it's a safe spot. And we reply to every message personally. We don't have no bots. We don't have anybody doing it for us. It's our thumbs that hit those like buttons. It's our fingers that type on those keyboards. So your opinions matter, and we want to hear it.
And that's what Information Lane is all about. Information Lane is about bringing awareness to the community, helping the people that can't help themselves. So we want you to write into the chat, write your questions. We want to have conversations with you. We want to provide you information. Maybe you don't have that. I am very blessed, and I realize that we live in sunny South Florida. So our doctor systems, hospitals, access to medications is way different than somebody that's living in a different country than the United States, even some of the states within the United States. So we want people to reach out to us. We want people to be able to express themselves. Hey, I'm struggling with this, or something like, just as little as I'm having a rough day dealing with today. Like, how do you do this? How do you wake up every day? I just had a seizure. Everyone knows when you come out of a seizure, it's not the best day. It's really hard just to get back up, and you need the rest. I will say, Curtis asked me about how I feel about being the caregiver and everything else. And the hardest part for me was watching him have a seizure, because I can't do anything. All I can do is just let him have the seizure and be there for him and reassure him when he comes out of it. So for me, that was the most hardest part of dealing with this epilepsy. Now I've gotten used to it, and I know that it's going to happen. When it's going to happen, I don't know, but it's just being prepared and being there for him so that when he needs me the most, I'm there.
And that's facts. She's right there every time. I know sometimes I wake up, I don't even know I had the seizure. I just know I got a Band-Aid on my finger.
Oh, we call the ambulance
again. Here again, huh? I go out to the mailbox and they say, well, had another seizure, huh?
I had to pull up video one time off of our cameras to actually show him that the ambulance came.
Hey, but one thing we really want to touch on is support. Like, we're here as a group. We have two groups, and we support everyone that's out there. So when you think you're alone, you're definitely not. All you have to do is just really lean out and speak up.
Dial in.
That's right. We're here to speak to you. And it's person to person. It'll never be no weird replies. Everyone matters. This is a tough road for everyone. Everyone heals different. Everyone's journey is different, but we're bound under one cause, and that's epilepsy.
So we also want to not just, we want to include Mike into the conversation. So, because he's such a great producer, and he does what he does the best is produce and make us people look amazing. I want to ask you, what is it about doing this podcasting? How does that feed your soul? Why Curtis and Ashleigh? Why the feeds? What is it that, lights your fire?
I'm not going to give away all the trade secrets. You know what I mean? We'll ask Colonel Sanders, what are the 11 secret herbs and spices, right? So, but I will say, for me, this whole thing is because of epilepsy. I'm here. I have a career, my own small business because of epilepsy. So that's a blessing. And it was, for those that don't know, I, made a living out there traveling, doing things. And, long story short, epilepsy really stopped that. And shuts us down in a way we probably never expected because we didn't expect epilepsy, right? And, it got to a point where I was kind of homebound. There wasn't a lot I was able to do from my past work, but I knew I could do some of this. I had friends that podcasted, and I was like, cool. So I'm going to try this. I went and, and my wife at the time, we were just engaged, but, I went and bought a used laptop. I'm looking at it right here, right now. I went and bought a used laptop and for, $45, $50 off Facebook Marketplace. my wife was like, "This is a little sketchy. We're going to like an on-cue parking lot to get a laptop." And I took an old stand-up comedy mic I'd had. SM58 still the best mics ever. I could plug it in right now. You'd hardly know a difference. They're great, but
Uh-huh.
they're not pod mics, you know. You know, and the laptop camera, because I couldn't even afford a webcam at the time. I just started going. I just started asking friends to hang out with me and talk to me. And I was like, I knew we could do this. We could get something. And, you know, from there, I ended up being able to travel across the country and produce shows. And it was just a real blessing. And it just kind of fell into place and made a lot of sense. And doing what I was doing. And then from there, I was like, why don't I start a business? And then it was, you know, we could do a network. And then, you know, I have a bigger vision. I didn't realize I had it, but when God gives you a vision, man, it's a blessing. And so, you know, that kind of thing, and kind of here we are. The one thing I wanted to bring up to you guys is the word I keep hearing over and over again without hearing is trust. And it's so important. And I was thinking of 1 Corinthians 13, which is my favorite. And I believe, you know, whether you are a Christian, consider yourself to be
That's
a
right.
Christian or not, 1 Corinthians 13 is great advice. Just like the 10 Commandments are great advice. This is great stuff. And if you decide, hey, I may not know what I believe, but I'm going to try to live by 1 Corinthians 13, that's a great way to start. That is a great way to start. And you'll know how lacking you are. Like, wow, love is hard. But it says love always trusts, always protects, always trusts, always.
That's right.
Love always trusts. And what I hear is a lot of, you know, of course, Curtis, and I can relate, going, I had to trust people in a way that I had no control over the trust. I didn't
Right.
have a choice. It was be alone or trust these people and possibly die, or trust these folks, you know?
Right. That's how it went too.
Yeah. And I hear Ashleigh going, I had to learn to trust the process. I had to learn to understand that there's not a lot of information here. And I had to trust who I am and what I had to put into this, to be the wife and the caretaker and the advocate and the podcaster. But there was just a lot of trust in God and in each other. That's huge. And it's funny, Ashleigh, because you know, my wife is a very non-podcast person. A lot of that, you know, as you know, she teaches and, you know, wants to keep everything kind of, but she's willing to do a show with you. So we'll talk about that later. But,
That's right.
you know, just having a couple of wives to talk about, you know, having, because I think you'd agree, Curtis, we're hard-headed dudes. I'm a hard-headed man. I will tell you that. So,
Most definitely. I'm a thick scalp.
yeah. We believe our way is the best way. You're going to really have to convince us it's not before we
Right.
make a change. So, you know, having the wives we have, going through the journeys they've done. And
Grateful.
yeah, it's upsetting. And, you know, man, sometimes, you know, epilepsy can feel like drowning sometimes in a way. And, you know, I find it, you know, they say when you're going to save somebody from drowning, don't grab them because they're going to grab you and pull you down, not because they
Right.
want to hurt you, but because they're freaking out and they, you know what I mean? You're just grabbing anything to hold
Right.
on to.
Reaching out.
And I think our wives deal with that sometimes, bro.
Most definitely.
And
I can
I'm
agree
not
to that
proud to
100%.
say it, but yeah, man, I think our wives go, oh, he's just grabbing onto anything as he feels like he's going down, and I'm that thing. And what the work they have to do mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to love and forgive us and still be
Right.
our superheroes. And that's a beautiful thing. And
That's right.
thank you for doing that for Curtis. So we're here now.
That's
You
right.
know,
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's what I see, a lot of trust there. And then oh gosh, I can't read my own writing.
It's okay. I have that problem too.
Oh, reactions. I was going to ask about reactions. Reactions and recovery, right? Those two R's. I feel like everybody's so worried about how do we stop seizures? How do we heal seizures? How do we, okay, fair. And yes, right? I'm in.
Right.
But we still got to deal with them. And it's odd, like, for instance, Enrique, not that, you know, it's good, but he's like, yeah, man, I can be back doing, saying, if I have a seizure in the morning, a lot of times by end of day, I can be back doing stuff, right? That's not me. I cannot. Yeah, yeah. And so it's different for different folks. And for me, dude, sometimes I'm out for a week. Like literally, if I have a seizure on Monday, you won't see me till next Monday because I just can't do what I need to do sometimes.
Right.
So um focusing on recovery, I think is a really big thing there. And then reactions as far as our medication, things we don't always notice, right? Like
Right.
I just feel more sleepy, but then I had to look up the new meds and go, oh, it can make you feel sleepy.
Right.
And I was on Kepra, which made me very depressed for a long time. It was a very big challenge. So if you guys could talk a little bit about that, a little bit of that recovery and that kind of thing. And
Yes,
yeah.
that's great that you said that, because I really wanted to bring this up. And in fact, Curtis's last seizure, like I mentioned, was January 30th. And we had a full day planned. And Curtis was not going to let that stop him. So he had a seizure at 8:20 in the morning. He had an appointment with a contractor, with a customer, at 11 o'clock in the morning. And he also, ironically, had an appointment with his neurologist, a virtual appointment, the same day. So I'm like, give me your phone. I'm going to cancel your appointment. He goes, no, I'm not canceling it. I'm like, but you need to recover. You need to get that rest. No, I can sit in the car. I can't drive, so I can sit in the car. You go with me and we'll figure this out. And I said, no, I really think that you need to rest and recover. And he just didn't want to do that. And so in a very small way, I admire that strength, because for me, I would have had to cancel everything and just lay there to recover, allow my body the time to heal. But Curtis has, I'm gonna let Curtis tell you, what is it that you feel that your drive, you after the seizure, you felt like you needed to get up, you needed to continue life?
For me, it was, I had people watching me, and especially the kids, they look at you, they're like, you're their hero. And for me, that spirit pushed through to my soul, and it was like, yo, buddy, get up, get out there and get it. No one's bringing it to you. So the spirit actually fueled my fire. The day she was talking about, I was supposed to go to a friend's giving, and I was upset that I didn't get to go. And the lady at church said, boy, you better not ever be mad because you had a seizure. But if you know me, I'm a man of my word. So if I tell you I'm coming, I'm coming. And I'll do everything in my power to get there. But the contractor, I know this guy, his name's Chris. He's got it's called Street Life Paving. He's out of Miami. And I've known this guy so long, and there's a job that was available. So of course I thought about him first because he's a small business, and it's a $50,000 job. So who don't need 50 grand? So what I did is I gave him the job and I introduced him. It was my job, but I introduced it to him, let him meet the contractor, and he was successful with securing the contract. But I just had a seizure the day before. I wasn't gonna,
that morning.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't going to let it stop me from completing the task at hand, because one thing for sure, like I said, if I put my name on it, I got to take care of it. I'm never going to leave you hanging. But that's what fuels me. What fuels me is just motivation, showing somebody else that you can do it, not in a narcissistic way, but in a healing way. So people can actually see that there's someone out there who's living the life that most people are scared of. And also, to be an interracial couple, people look at us weird sometimes. It's like, really? He's got to go.
Wait, you guys are interracial? Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
I had no idea.
She's Farrah Fawcett and you're
He's
Shrek.
he's got a really good tan. That's what it is.
But they called me Shrek. She's Farrah Fawcett. So I was like, well, I'll take that. But epilepsy has definitely opened my eyes up. It's changed the way I look at life. I appreciate every small moment. Every day is a holiday. Every meal is a feast. One thing about a seizure is I may fall, but I'm going to rise with the grace of God. It's the people who are surrounding you, like Ashley, like Mike, like Reed, those folks who lift us up every day. It's not just today we're going to do it, tomorrow we'll be all right. It's every day. So if you get a chance to meet these people, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, they show love every day. And the funny thing is, we're all in different states. Everybody lives in a different state, but you wouldn't know that because we talk so much. You would think he's in my living room. This family is definitely built on strength. There's a lot of people that are here for you. So when you think there's no one out there, all you got to do is really go check out Face the Epilepsy or Epilepsy. We're in South Florida. You will pick up all the family that you need. And I promise you, you will not be left alone. I just want to know one thing from Mike. When you were diagnosed with epilepsy, how did that make you feel, and how did that affect your journey?
Man, I was in denial, as I said before, man. It took probably the first 2 years before I even really it took meeting my wife and her going, no, this is a problem. Like, how you're kind of losing jobs, or you're having issues, or your life is kind of weird and you don't feel good a lot because of these seizures you're having. We got to get this looked at. I was like, I saw a neurologist, like in 3 years, I've seen a neurologist twice. And as you know, it was the first meeting was very preliminary, and the second one was, how's the meds? I'm like, well, I haven't had a seizure in a month. And they're like, keep rolling, and that was it, right?
Right.
And I'm just one of those guys, just backwards, no doc, the doctor is the last resort. Right? So anyway, it wasn't until I found her, she's like, no, we're going to find a good neurologist that will work with you. We're going to figure out what medicines work for you. And it wasn't until I found her that I even started really entertaining it, other than like, I'd be in boardroom meetings. I was a national sales manager for a company, and I was in a boardroom meeting and I had a seizure straight up, and it was a focal, so it was mild, but I felt it coming. I was like, crap, I can't do that right here, right now. And you know what I mean? And then I just breathed real deep, quick. I knew it'd probably been maybe 50, because I knew I was out. I came back and I looked, and everything was still going on. Like, I was like, if I had a big seizure, people wouldn't be like still talking about TBS. Right. So yeah.
What is he doing?
And then man, and then it got to the point to where, like, living in the Dallas area, it's very common to commute like an hour, to work and back. And it got to where I just couldn't do that because of like auras and concerns. So yeah, man, it wasn't until the wife was like, we got to figure this out. And we're still in the process, legitimately. We still are.
Right.
Like I said, I finally got my medications switched from Keppra to Depakote, like less than a month ago, after 7 years of being on Keppra and trying and asking doctors if they had anything else for me. It took an ER doctor to go, yeah, you don't need to be on this Keppra. We're putting you on Depakote, and it's working way better. To the point of, I'll give you this one. Went to my GP, great guy. My doctor's a friend, my GP doctor. And he asked me, how's the Depakote doing, kind of thing. I'm like, well, the problem is I'm sleeping too much. He's like, how much? I'm like, 8 to 9 hours. He's like, okay. And I'm like, no. I am a 6-hour at most guy. You understand? I don't have those 3 hours a day to sleep.
That's right.
And he was like, no, man. And he's like, gotta be honest, you're getting older. He's like, you need 8 hours of sleep. And if you could catch an hour nap, you're going to live longer and be healthier. I was like, I don't have those 3 hours.
Right.
Do you know? I don't have those 3 hours to give.
Right.
No. He's like, we're not changing your meds just yet, bro. He's like, work it out. Sleep is good. So yeah.
Definitely. Mine was the same way. Like I was on Lamictal. That's what they had me on now, lamotrigine. But for me, that medication is the only one I've been on. I tried Keppra once, and it made me violently sick. So my doctor switched it. But Lamictal makes me gain weight. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no appetite, so I don't know how. If I'm not hungry, how am I getting fat? I don't get it. Like, it's a chain reaction. But I take it. My meds were off. I was at the low end, and now they have my medicine correct also. So I think that's also what allows me to get out here and do what I do, is my medicine is right. But definitely, we want to let folks know that we push positivity. There's definitely no negative vibes. If we have negative vibes around, we cut it off immediately. Definitely stigma free. My wife, she can definitely tell you about some of the things we do, some of the things that I've known that I can do, things that I'm putting out now, sort of for us, my poetry. My heart is big. I care deeply. So she's definitely my number one. So
you had mentioned the feeds in South Florida, or Epilepsy South Florida. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Epilepsy Awareness South Florida was built at the very beginning. I was in my dark days when we built that out. And I think Miss Rose came to me and told me, she said, boy, you need to get it together. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. And Anchor Church, let me shoot them out real quick. Anchor Church, my Anchor Church, Pastor T, Pastor Sean, amazing people. So if you ever get a chance to log on, if you can't show up in person, log on. we have it online. You can catch the service, 11:45 Pentecostal. Woo, woo. But but definitely, they saved my day. Pastor came over and she anointed my house. I didn't even see her. She came over. She blessed our home.
Second seizure.
Right. Pastor Sean, he delivers a message so hard that like every week I feel like he's talking to me, and it fuels my day because when I leave church, I'm able to go out into the community and pass the message along. And like I said, I'm a Christian. So if you don't want to talk to me or hear me pray, don't listen to me, but it's coming. But definitely positivity is
there we go.
What built Epilepsy Awareness South Florida. As you can see, we started this 6 months ago, and look how many members there are. And we don't call them members, we call them family. We got one of the biggest families that you'll see besides Face of Epilepsy. They got a bunch also. We got a big family together. And what we didn't do is we didn't build a bigger wall. We built a bigger table. And a lot of times people are pushed away. They're not heard. They feel unheard. But this is the spot. Let me tell you right now, everybody, please listen. This is the spot where your voice will be heard. Also, I believe in positivity. I promise you. When I went from my darkest days to living my best life. And if you can see on the screen, that's my daughter right there. I had the pleasure of baptizing my daughter in the ocean. And that's my wife. There's my sons at the bottom standing next to me at my wedding. There's my two young men who I've successfully grown into young adults who are going to be making somebody's daughter happy. And it's all in the Lane name. And we're breaking generational curses over here, along with breaking stigma. So when we say we've had it rough, it's definitely been rough. But this journey has taught us one thing, is to believe in ourselves, lean on people, have your faith, heal, and love yourself. Because when you're broken, the people around you are broken. And if you're a male and you're leading, please, and I mean please, ask for help. Like, it's never too late to ask for help. It don't make you no less of a man. I lean all the time. I cried today. I was tearing up when we first started this show. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I'm so excited to be able to pass the word along to those who want to receive it. Even those who don't want to receive it, please listen, because we give out good information, and that's just from the heart. You got to do everything you do in life from your heart. You can't do it for gain. You can't do it for clout. You can't do it, oh, look, they see me. It's the rooms that you're in when no one's looking that tells about your character. And here at Face the Epilepsy Awareness South Florida, we believe in being 100% in every room that we're in. We're here to raise awareness, education, and let those folks know that there is a new day coming. And put your feet on the ground and take off, because you only get one. As soon as you're born, your days start counting down, and don't waste them with fear.
Yeah. So one of the things that we did in the first 5 months was Epilepsy Awareness South Florida. We created a Facebook page to bring awareness to the community, to provide information for people that didn't have the answers, because we were blessed enough to be able to find some of those answers. You know, some people go through their life 15, 20 years not knowing what their triggers are, what type of epilepsy they have. So we advocated for ourselves. We advocated for us individually together. And we went through 3 different doctors to find the right prescriptions, the right doctor that would listen to us. And that's one of the things that you have to remember to do for yourself, is you need to advocate for yourself. Just because you're going to a neurologist, you know yourself, you know your body more than anything else. And Curtis isn't shy to ask the questions to the doctor, which is one of the things that I admire about him. And we keep each other accountable when we go to doctor's appointments. You know, sometimes the doctor, how are you feeling? I'm okay. I'm like, whoa. Or vice versa, you know, like, it's definitely a journey. We do trust each other in ways that we never thought that our marriage would ever evolve to. So this journey has definitely taught us trust.
And it's brought us closer together. I'm not gonna lie, it brought us really closer together. We went from being individuals to being a unit. And I think that what separates us from the rest is we're a team over here. No one man is greater than the other one. And if I have a bad day, she lifts me up. She has a bad day, I get her. You know, some days we both have a bad day, so we just stay in the house, so we don't go do nothing. But for the most part, It's joint effort. Information Lane right there, as you see on your screen, we're busting the walls on stigma. So if you want to join in on it, it's coming, I'm telling you.
And we're going to have guests on here, so we would love for people to DM us, reach out to Mike, reach out to either one of us through our pages, and we want to get guests on here to tell your stories. This is what Information Lane is about. It's about promoting information to the community, to the people, and the people that need to hear it. If you're here, you matter. If you're paying attention to what's going on here, I will tell you, we have people that have joined our page that don't even have epilepsy, and you never know. It hits 1 in 26 people every day. So just to have some type of knowledge of what you're supposed to do, there's an old myth, people have seizures, you're supposed to put a spoon in their mouth. That's so far from the truth. So it's learning, educating. There are teachers and people in our lives that need to have some of this information. So even if you are curious, we want the curious. Come on in.
That's right.
So that's just how awareness is spread. That's how stigma is broken. And that's one of Curtis's true passions, is to break stigma. You can turn on the TV at any given day and you can see a cancer commercial. You can see an AIDS commercial. You can see an asthma commercial. But do you see a commercial about epilepsy? You do not.
Right.
So that's one of the things. I know it's a far fetch, and I know that we're two people gabbing, telling our life story on a podcast, but one day we want to find a cure. There has got to be a way to find a cure. Right. So it's not just taking medication. Here you go, take medication for the rest of your life. That's just not the end all be all for us. There has got to be a better answer, and this is why we are so passionate about the things that we do.
While she's talking about cures, I also want to take a second to shout out a couple groups. I want to shout out St. Jude's, because you know how much stuff they do for these kids. Some of those kids don't have anything left. They're drained, and St. Jude's takes care of every child that comes in now. They don't leave them alone until they're either healed or they get to go home. And also Ronald McDonald House. Ronald McDonald House provides homes and rooms for people to stay so they don't have to leave their children behind. So let's shout out those people. And if you get a chance, please look at them and donate, because they're definitely saving lives one day at a time.
We also want to recognize Epilepsy Foundation and Epilepsy Alliance. Epilepsy Alliance played a huge part in our story. They were able to help find doctors for us, and we paid a fraction of the cost. Curtis did not have insurance at the time. We were getting him insurance in that promotion of get that way, but we just didn't have insurance. So of course we were trying to get all of our free resources, and Epilepsy Alliance, they're a United States company. I'm sure they're in different countries. We'll do some research and education to find that out, but there's different chapters in every state. We have one here. Their headquarters is in Miami, and I will tell you, they're amazing.
Amazing group.
We want to do walks to raise awareness. We want to do all of those things, but Epilepsy Alliance and Epilepsy Foundation, they're great resources to start at. They have people there that can point you in the right direction, and eventually that's where we would like to be at, is being a point yourself in the right direction thing. We want people to know that just because you have epilepsy, you can find love, you can be in a healthy relationship, and you can do life.
That's right. And also what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise sponsorship. So if you know someone out there that wants to impact the community, please get in touch with us, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to raise money for events, equipment, things that can make the day better for someone else, families, just little things that people go unnoticed. We want to give that back to the community. And it's not about us. It's not about Ashleigh. It's not about Curtis. It's not about Mike. It's about everyone that's going through the fight. So together we got to stand united, and one day, hopefully soon, our voices will be heard, and this thing will be a thing of the past, and we'll all be able to live a life free of worry, free of doubt. Because seizures, like my buddy Enrique say, seizures are like punks because they sneak up from the back. So we definitely want to get rid of that. Also, I want to send a shout out to everybody who's out there going through something. Sometimes life gets hard, the journey gets tough, but there's always a brighter day. So remember, there's a saying that says it can't stay dark forever. The sun will eventually come up. And if you make it through another day, you're okay. I promise you. You got people that's out here trying to help you, that want to help you. Lean into them, accept the help, and you're never too great to ask for help. So just remember that. And here at Epilepsy Awareness South Florida and Faces of Epilepsy, that's the platform that we provide. We give you a space where you can come be you, join in the conversation. As many people as we can get every week, we want it double next week. That way we can get the voice out. And if I share something, post it, take it, post
Share
it,
it.
share it. And that's the way the word's going to get out. And sometimes I know I post a lot in your guys' community. That's because I have a lot on my heart. So I'm going to keep posting. I'm going to keep giving you positive words. And everything that I post is from me. It's my heart. So when you read one of my poems, you're taking a piece of me with you. So when you want to know who Curtis is, please just go read it and you'll definitely find out who I am. And if you want to know more, just reach out and talk to me. I'll give you my number. We'll call and talk to you. Ask Bobby Spillers, ask Harold Creekmore, ask Enrique. I'm always available. So if you need me, I'm there.
So
And
go ahead, Mike.
I was just going to say, for upcoming shows, I have a couple of request topics for, us watching. Because, we love you. We're fans. But one of the number one ones is dating with epilepsy.
Yeah.
Because, even though we were already married, I know you guys deal with single. You got single kids at the dating age.
That's right.
You deal with a lot of folks that are epileptics and possibly single. I mean, we got them in our group, single epileptic folks, and just like your tips for a strong relationship, pitfalls maybe to watch out for. Some of those potholes that are in that road that are going to be there, and it's like, hey, instead of driving straight at 80 miles an hour and hitting it, here's a way to swerve a little bit, right? Little things like that. So dating with epilepsy would be one, and then relationships with epilepsy in that whole kind of vein, that would be one. The next one is one thing we love about you guys is you live. I recommend everybody follow their Facebook. It's great, but you guys live. Whether you're going to a Jelly Roll concert or a baseball game or just a fun Florida festival, you guys live, and that is so important because I think a lot of folks that get diagnosed the way we do think it's a social death sentence, right? Maybe it's not a life death sentence, but man, it's like, well, a lot of folks don't get to drive. You know what I mean? The meds are weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, well, I'll just sit in my house all day. And we know that leads to a lot of other issues, depression and things like that, loneliness.
Yeah.
And so the way you guys are defeating that by living, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's conscious or you're just awesome. And we want that awesomeness, to come out.
Yeah.
But that as well. And then living a healthy lifestyle. You can tell I'm like so excited for us to go on this journey. But these are some of the topics I wanted, to throw out there. Maybe people in the chat, in the comments, anything you're excited about having Curtis and Ashleigh share with us. Let's go, right? So
Yeah.
I think those are all
I mean, day-to-day living with epilepsy is a different journey every day. So in dating and all of that. So I would love to touch on those topics, and get deeper into our story for people to understand, what we have. We don't have great days every day. We're not the perfect couple. We both work full-time jobs. And so I would love for Curtis also to open up, tell people, epileptics get told so many times what they can't do. Curtis has defined that and said, tell me what I can do. Like, I'm going to show you what I can do.
Right.
So, and like epilepsy, we know that comes with depression. We've talked about that. Comes with, suicidal thoughts. People are, I can't do this anymore. So I think it's just honing in onto that small positivity that you have in your life, and truly just holding on to that, because if we can inspire you to get out of bed today, to go do one positive thing, if it's a walk around the block so that you feel that breath in your lung and feel a little bit better, then that's amazing. We don't want people to feel like you said, you have a social death sentence.
Right.
We want you to know that life continues after that. And I think what helped us was that we've lived 40 something years doing life. And then when epilepsy came into the picture for us, we still were going to do life no matter what. We were going to figure it out. Curtis has been thrown so many curveballs in his lifetime. And again, we'll touch on all that stuff in future episodes, but he wasn't going to allow epilepsy to define who he is. That was one of the strongest things and passionate things that he really wanted to express to the community on our Facebook page.
Right.
He wanted people to know that although I have epilepsy, epilepsy does not have me.
That's right. Hey, and also, I write. So on the next episode, tune in. I'm going to write one. It's called Love After Epilepsy. So for all you people out there that think that there's no love after epilepsy, look at us. We're perfect examples of that. We love each other every day. No matter if I shake and bake or if I roll on the ground, she's going to love me and kiss me as soon as I get up. But what you can't do is not get up. So remember that. It's coming next week, and just check it out.
So I know we're getting close to the time. How do you want to end this?
Yeah, just sign off basically. So
Okay.
how you want to sign, guys. Make sure you follow us at
Hold on a second.
Faces.
Right.
Mental note, 57 minutes in. So
I like how it's going. I think next week, the next one, what we're going to do is we'll come up with some questions on a piece of paper. That way we have references. That way the show goes the way we'd like it to go. And we do, if we're doing an hour show, we can do 2 sets of shout outs. We'll figure out what we'll do, and we'll give the proper information if they want to get a hold of those groups. And then we'll just go from there. We've been winging it, and I love it.
Yeah, no, and this.
All right.
But I will say your content is so interesting. I'm enjoying listening to you guys. Like I'm getting caught up in it. It's like, dude, you're working. But it's like I could just sit and hang out and just. Hey, are you a caretaker of a caretaker? Are you a child, a parent, a significant other of an epileptic? Are you an epileptic? You just suffer from seizures, but maybe not diagnosed yet. We are here for you. You know what I mean? Just that kind of thing. And
Right.
dial in why we want to go to Epilepsy Awareness South Florida, and then dial in, Mondays 7 8 your time, 9 my time. So yeah. Or did we decide, did you guys want to go 7 your time or 8?
8.
Monday.
Let's do it.
8.
Yes.
Okay. So let them know 8 p.m. Eastern,
Okay.
that it's 9, whatever. Just be like, and guys, come every week. We appreciate you. We love you. Best place to go is Epilepsy Awareness South Florida. Just really give that to them. We want to see those numbers come up a little bit, and then that
Right.
will be the place where we kind of can get those real fans, those true organic original fans. That's where they're going to live with us, and we know what to kind of listen to kind of as we build the show. You know what I
Right.
mean? Does that make sense? What I'm
Yeah.
saying?
All
Okay.
right. You want to go?
I'll go.
All right.
I'm going to talk about what he just said about the epilepsy.
All
To
right.
join the page, even if you don't have it, I'm going to
All
say that, and then we'll do the time, tune in,
Okay.
write questions. What do you want to know about?
Yeah.
We can do that, and then you do the prayer thing.
All right.
And once
Do
again,
all-
if it-
She gonna do.
The show is coming to an end tonight. We want to remind you to join the pages, Epilepsy South Florida, the feed, Faces of Epilepsy groups. There's a lot of resources there. Even like I said before, if you're not an epileptic and you're not a caregiver, maybe you know someone who is. Maybe you can give them some information from the pages. So that's really what this is. It's just bringing community together, helping people out, and showing appreciation for the community. Education is a huge one for us as well. So we want to make sure that you guys tune in, chime in. We want to write in your questions, what you want to know about the different topics. I'm so excited to start this journey, and we're excited to have all of you be a part of it.
As we wrap up, I'd like to say a prayer over the group and everyone that's out here listening. If you please bow your head wherever we're at. Heavenly Father, bless this podcast and every area it reaches. Let our voices carry awareness, healing, strength, and hope to those fighting battles seen and unseen. Use this platform to break stigma, bring people together, and remind others they are never alone. Lord, guide our words, protect our mission, and let every episode leave a lasting impact on lives and communities everywhere. May this movement grow with love, compassion, and purpose at the center. And that's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We can't wait to see you next time.
Love you.